What's up? What's up, Witty? And hell of a fight. A hell of a fight tonight. Y'all already know what to do. We just gonna chop it up for a little bit about this fight tonight. When you come in the building, smash on my like button and let me know you in the building. Man, what a fight tonight. What a fight. Yeah. Hell of a fight though. Hell of a fight. I knew it was gonna be a hell of a fight tonight. Know it was gonna be a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, smash on the like button when you come in the building and jump in the comment section and let's talk about this fight tonight. I told y'all what's good with it, Mr. Reds J in the building. What's happening with it? Aldrich, Aldrin Patch, Castano won, man. I don't have no problem. I picked Castano to win. Charlo clearly won. Charlo didn't clearly win. If you in here talking about that Charlo clearly won the fight, you just biased. It's no way that you can sit up here and say that Charlo clearly won that fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? See, that's what y'all gotta stop doing. Just because you a fan of a fighter, right? You gotta look at the fight with an unbiased eye. Ain't no way that nobody can come in here and tell me that Charlo clearly won the fight. It ain't no way. If you telling me that you think that Charlo clearly, right? Key word is clearly won the fight. You either watching the fight with a biased eye and telling the flat out lie. Either one of the two. Either one of the two. D. Carrison said he listened in Japan. Salute to you all the way in Japan. Um, I honestly, I had Charlo down by a lot, going into like the eighth round. And then Charlo caught up. He caught up. And I think that Charlo really needed that last round to secure a draw. I think that Charlo, he needed the last round to secure a draw. And he pulled off the last round. But you can't say that Charlo, come on now, man. To me, the rounds were pretty easy to score. Like they weren't difficult rounds to score. Let me see who we got in the building. But Capman 785, what's happening with it? He said, what's good? He said, Jermell let me down. He ain't listened to Derek. Man, I tried to tell y'all, if y'all watch my lives, I tried to tell everybody. I said, this is gonna be a very, very tough fight for Charlo. And I said, if he hurts Castano, he not gonna knock him out. I said, because Castano not gonna lay down like that. Now, I think that if Jermell Charlo had been more aggressive when he had Castano hurt, he could have knocked him out. But you can see that Castano had power, and Jermell Charlo was tentative to go in there wild because he didn't want to get caught with some shit. Um, G May said rematch gonna be a late November, early December. Yeah, we need a rematch, man. This was a hell of a fight for the fans. You know what I'm saying? This was a great fight for the fans. JBCBBA say the draw is acceptable. Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt, man. Like I said, I actually had a score to draw after having Jermell Charlo down by a lot. Uh, when Tank going to fight somebody, I don't know, man. You got to ask Mayweather and them that. Phil J 508, what's happening with it? Land of the 216, what's happening with it? He say right back ain't cheating. He said run it back, Charlo. Yeah, man. J.A. Dixon, what's happening? What J.A. Dixon? What I tell y'all on my lives? I said everybody trying to shit on Castano like he ain't shit. Like Jermell Charlo just gonna go in there. I said it ain't gonna happen that way. I try to tell people, man. A lot of people like to watch the fight off of favoritism of what fighter they like. Um, I just didn't see the fight going like that. People was talking about Charlo was gonna go in there and knock him out, and shit. I think that Charlo could have knocked him out, dog. But Charlo didn't want to get caught with none. But ain't no way that Charlo won that fight. It was a close fight. I had it a draw. I had it a draw, or you could have it one round for Castano because one of the early rounds that I gave to Jermell Charlo, um, it was still close. It could have went either way. So, it could have went, I had it a draw, but I don't have no problem with somebody having it one round for Castano, but it ain't no way that Jermell Charlo won that fight. It ain't no way. Um, G May said Charlo need to work the body and throw them damn uppercuts. But see, like I told y'all, if y'all listen to me on live, I said Charlo has problem with pressure fighters. I said if you're a pressure fighter that can box a little bit, I said Charlo gonna have problem with Castano because Castano throw a lot of punches. He put a lot of pressure on you, even though he didn't throw a lot of punches tonight like he usually do. But he put that pressure on Jermell Charlo. And when you back Jermell Charlo up, right? If you could take his power, that's when you start giving him problems. I told y'all that. Uh, Juan Ramos, what's happening with it? He said he should have got him out of there in the 10th. He said Castano was out on his leg. I feel you. I do agree. But see, what the thing is Charlo had already got caught. You feel what I'm saying? Charlo had got caught, and he was tentative to go in there and start throwing wild shit because he didn't really know if Castano was out on his feet like that or if Castano was trying to bait him in because Castano got power. He has power. And Jermell Charlo, he made sure. See, Castano was smart because what he did is he put that pressure on Charlo early, and he made sure that Jermell Charlo felt his power very early to let him know, hey, dog, you're not finna just walk up in here, with anything. Champ Ross, what's happening with it? What's good with it, Champ? He say Charlo did. He say Charlo didn't do much body work to throw the uppercut all night to his demise. Yeah, because Charlo was worried about what was coming back at him. You know what I'm saying? Castano, he sit down on his punches, and when you get inside with Castano, you got to be able to take some shit because Castano, he throw them short, hard shots. Uh, Uppercut Boxing Nation, what's happening with it? Salute. He say the judge scored it 117, 111 in favor of Charlo, needs to be drug tested. But see, that don't surprise me, Uppercut Boxing Nation. I knew that they had a judge that they already had on their side in the bag. You know how I knew? Is because when I seen my man um Sam Watson, right? I seen Sam Watson go up to Jermell Charlo and he had a big smile on his face. He said, man, you's a bad motherfucker, man. Hell yeah, hell yeah. And they was confident. They was confident. And that let me, when I seen, because there's no way that you could have been confident that Charlo had pulled that fight off if you saw that fight. So when I seen my man, and I fuck with Sam Watson heavy, but when I seen Sam Watson tell Charlo that, I said, it's going to be some bullshit with these scorecards because you got to understand, Castano is a PBC fighter, but Castano don't bring them in money like Jermell Charlo do. Jermell Charlo is one of the top PBC fighters. So in order to beat Jermell Charlo or one of the top fighters like that, you're not going to get a decision in a close fight like that. Yeah, Champ Ross, he put a lot of mental pressure on him. And even though when he wasn't throwing shots, he was putting that pressure on Charlo. He was putting that, and he was backing Charlo up. Um, yeah, and like I said, I broke this fight down to people exactly how it happened. I broke it down to people. I said he's going to give Charlo a lot of problems with the pressure and the amount of punches he throw. And I said he got power. And I said everybody thinks that Charlo just gonna go in there and land some shit, and then he's gonna lay down like everybody else that Charlo been in the ring with. I said it ain't gonna happen like that. I said it's not gonna happen like that. And I told y'all, I said everybody else that I said Charlo got real power. I said, but everybody that he's been knocking out, they got suspect chins. They all had suspect chins. You had never seen Castano, right, be knocked out. You ain't never seen Castano get in no trouble and fold up. And he was in a lot of trouble. I think Castano was in a lot of trouble. And I think if Jermell Charlo really had the nuts to just go in there and get him out of there, he probably could have got Castano out of there. But he was too he was too I don't want to say afraid, but he was too cautious that he didn't want to get caught with some shit because Castano can crack. Uh Halo 00 Master say, bro, his own coach in the 12th round told him he had to knock him out. Um, well, see, with Derrick James, I was watching Derrick James in the corner, right? I was watching Derrick James very closely in the corner. And that's why Derrick James is the top elite coach that he is. Because if you watch Derrick James in the corner, Derrick James was telling Jermell Charlo exactly what he had to do, exactly what he was supposed to do. And when Jermell Charlo started implementing the game plan that Derrick James was telling him, Jermell Charlo was actually um he was making the fight look pretty easy, but he wouldn't stick to it. He wouldn't stick to it because he's not a Charlo is just not a pressure fighter like that. He fights in spots. You know what I'm saying? And but yeah, but Derrick James was telling him exactly what he needed to do throughout that whole fight. Derrick James wasn't sugarcoating nothing. He was telling him, he was like, use the jab more, pump the jab, and then come with the uppercut. Come up and Derrick James was supposed to tell him, you got to go out there and get the knockout. Because see, Derrick James, the coach that he is, he realized my guy got a granite chin. This guy Castano has been hurt several times. So go out there, put it on the line, and knock him out so you don't have to leave it in the judge's hands. Because, like I said, I had Jermell Charlo I think, after 8 rounds, I had Jermell Charlo down 6 rounds to 2. After 8 rounds, I had him down 6 rounds to 2. Um, and I think, Jermell Charlo, he started pulling out some rounds. Um, he started pulling out a lot of rounds in the end, but yeah, I don't think none of those rounds were very hard to score. It was one round in that fight that was real close to me that was hard to score. I think Jermell Charlo, he really needed that last round. He really needed to pull out that last round to get a draw, not to win the fight. Because I don't think anybody that tell me that Jermell Charlo won that fight, I want you to sit down with me and tell me where Jermell Charlo won the fight because he didn't win the fight. He didn't win that fight. I did have him pulling off a draw, barely pulling off a draw. I had him winning that last round to pull off the draw. Let me see what y'all talking about. Um, Hector Vasquez say I see Canelo knocking both Charlos out. They've been exposed. Canelo will pressure and will know how to finish and hurt him. Well, yeah, man. I've been telling people. See, most people, they just gonna talk about a fighter on who they like and who they don't like. I've been telling people that Jermall Charlo cannot beat Canelo Alvarez. I don't even really talk about Jermell Charlo beating Canelo Alvarez because he's not even, what I'm saying, in the same weight division. But Jermall Charlo, he can't beat Canelo Alvarez. As much as people want to say and see him beat Canelo, it's not gonna happen. That's not, to me. Jermall Charlo and Canelo is not even a close fight. Canelo's on a whole nother skill level than it really. Jermall Charlo is a tailor-made fighter for Canelo Alvarez. Jermall Charlo's tailor-made for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, if you're gonna stand in front of him and try to bang with him, if you're not slick and have a lot of head movement and have real good footwork, Canelo Alvarez is gonna fucking walk through you. He gonna walk through you. That's what he want. Um, you gotta be slick, and Jermall Charlo is not slick like that. Jermall Charlo, he's an opponent that try to use a jab, but he don't use it enough. He don't pump his jab. He got a good solid jab, but he don't pump it enough. But when he pump his jab, he don't get his head off the line. So he's still there to be hit. He don't move a lot. He gonna be in front of you. And Jermall Charlo, he bigger than all his opponents. So what he usually do is he overpower you. Um, G May said, y'all seen how Errol was looking in the 10th round? Yeah, man. Errol knew that Jermell was down. Errol knew that Jermell was down. Um, Champ Ross said I had Jermell winning the last 4 rounds. Man, really, I know at one point I had Charlo. I think I had Charlo down. Um, Wait, no, let me see, sir. No, I had Charlo at one point in the fight, right? Because I was scoring the fight. I don't have my paper in front of me. At one point, what? Hold on. What's up, baby? Um, could I take the blanket off from under him because he was like that and he was about to fall. I'll go check him right now. All right. At one point in the fight, I had Jermell Charlo. I had I don't have my paper in front of me, but I know that I had Charlo. He was down 5 rounds to 2 at one point. He was down 5 rounds to 2, and I think I had him maybe down 6 rounds to 2 at one point. But yeah, Champ Ross, he did come back. Like I said, I don't have my paper in front of me, but I did have him come back, in the later rounds, and he was pulling them rounds out. He pulled, most of the real late rounds out. I did have him doing that. But if anybody have Castano winning by 1 round, I don't have no problem with that. If anybody tell me that Jermell Charlo won that fight, Jermell Charlo didn't win that fight. But I had it a draw. I had it a draw. I scored the fight a draw. I had it 6-6. But I had I did pick Castano. I had made my pick earlier, and I did pick Castano to win the fight. I said that Castano was gonna win the fight, but I do think that Charlo pulled off a draw. Robert Pitt says the Charlos are sloppy for Canelo. I don't think that Jermell Charlo is sloppy. Jermell Charlo is real accurate with his punches. He's not, and he's not sloppy. Jermall Charlo sloppy with his shit. Jermall Charlo, if you watch him, he got a good jab, but he overshoot a lot of his shots. And I've been telling people this for a long time. The real 6 production say he didn't do enough to hurt Charlo and stop him. He had Charlo hurt, but it was, toward the end of the round. What was it, like the third or fourth round? You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, G Mays, the rematch is gonna be crazy. But honestly, even though I picked Castano to win this fight, and I think Castano, like I said, I had it a draw, or I had Castano pulling that out by 1 round, but I scored it a draw. I don't have no problem with somebody saying that Castano edged it out by 1 round. I think in the rematch, from what I seen, from what I saw in the rematch, Jermell Charlo gonna knock him out in the rematch. If they rematch, Jermell Charlo gonna go knock him out because I saw a lot of things that Jermell Charlo could have took advantage of that he didn't. That he didn't. Trey Caesar, the fight wasn't no robbery. Anybody coming in here talking about it was a robbery, you losing your damn mind. You got to go back and watch the fight. It wasn't no robbery. Uh, Let me see. Let me see what y'all talking about. Yeah, that fight wasn't no robbery. The real 16-6 production said, feel like if he had done more, he would have won the fight. Who? Oh, you talking about Charlo? You feel like if Charlo, yeah, if he had done more, but see, he was tentative to go in there. What's good with it? G5 Gabe. And y'all make sure that y'all go sub to my man G5 Gabe off in the building. Devin Blocker, what's happening with it? Um, Jose Ortiz say Castano. Yeah, but man, it's just straight up, man. It was a hell of a fight. The fans won because it wasn't no this fight. It wasn't no robbery in this fight. Yeah, that 117 to 111 scorecard was some complete bullshit. It was complete bullshit. But the other scorecards was on point. The other two scorecards was on point. So at the end of the day, the fans won. Every time we have a close fight like this, we always have one scorecard that fuck up everything because one scorecard be some outrageous shit, and then the fans are gonna start talking about that one scorecard instead of talking about the other two judges that actually were on point. But this is fucked up because right now, I'm gonna tell y'all what's gonna happen, right? Now it's gonna be very hard for us to get undisputed because see, we everybody talking about a rematch, right? But see what they gonna do, because what they gonna do now is they're not gonna give an immediate rematch because Jermell Charlo got 3 belts. He's gonna have to have a mandatory, and then fucking Castano probably gonna have a mandatory pop up for his belt. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be hard to get. It's that's why it's so hard to get undisputed because you got so much of bullshit that always happens in boxing. Uh, you know what I'm saying? So we might not even get a immediate rematch because the sanction, this sanction body. Oh, you gotta defend your WBA or WBC title, and I think that Jermell Charlo, he has a mandatory defense that he has for his WBC title next. And if it is if they stick to the script, he gonna have to fight Lubin. Um, G May says the mandatory is not beating none of them, bro. I promise you that. The mandatories, man, I'm telling you right now, Erickson Lubin is dangerous. If Erickson Lubin, right? Erickson Lubin can beat either one of them, right? But his chin, G Mays, just like my man G Mays said, his Erickson Lubin can beat Castano or Jermell Charlo, but his fucking chin. Now, if Erickson Lubin can get lucky enough to where he can get through a 12-round fight with one of them dudes, and his chin can hold up, he's the best. To me, Erickson Lubin is the best 154 pounder out there if he had a chin. I know that shit sounds funny, but if he had a chin. And I told everybody about Bryan Castano. Everybody went on my live. Everybody was coming in there laughing, talking about I was crazy when I said that Bryan Castano is gonna give my man a whole lot of problems. I told everybody. Everybody thought I was crazy when I said that Bryan Castano was going to give Jermell Charlo a whole lot of problems and the fight was going to be very, very close. Uh, hey, G Mays, I feel you. I picked Jermell to beat Lubin, but hey, I'm telling you, if Lubin paper thin fucking soft chin can fucking around and hold up, if Lubin can weather that storm and hold up, hey man, that boy dangerous. That motherfucking Lubin needs to, you know what I'm saying? Somebody needs to break Lubin's jaw, and then you know what I'm saying. He need to get a steel plate in his jaw, and maybe then you know what I'm saying that'll fix his jaw. Maybe his shit will hold up, cover that fucking nerve up. You know what I'm saying? Cover that nerve up in his jaw. I sound stupid, right? I sound stupid, but you in here watching me. How the fuck? How stupid do that make your ass sound? I'm stupid, but you in here watching me. Man, that shit crazy. Hey, oh yeah, Roxanne, what's happening with it? Yeah, Errol Spence was talking about said he got a big ass head. He might get hey, Errol Spence was right. Hey, that big ass head on Castano, he took them punches. He ain't take them too well, but he took them punches. G5 Gage said, I said what you said, Keon. Castano pressure and speed will be a challenge. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man, I knew it. I knew it. See, I had watched Castano. Even if you go back and watch Castano, he fought in the World Series or what was it, the World Boxing Series. He fought in the World Boxing Series way back in like 2012, 2013, right? Before he turned pro. But those were pro fights. He fought Sergey Derevyanchenko, and he beat Sergey Derevyanchenko. And Sergey Derevyanchenko back then was a fucking beast. And Bryan Castano beat him. So I said, yeah, Bryan Castano. I said that Jermell Charlo ain't never seen nobody like Bryan Castano. And I think he surprised Jermell Charlo very early. See, Jermell Charlo was used to hitting dudes, and them dudes was folding up. Bryan Castano kept coming, man. Samuel Carter said Charlo don't need to fight that dude again. He was lucky with the draw. Uh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, dude, because I saw a lot of things that Jermell Charlo could have done in that fight to stop Bryan Castano, but he was just too tentative to get hit. But I think in a rematch, I would be willing to bet, even though I picked Castano to win this fight. My pick was Castano, but in the rematch, I would pick Jermell Charlo for the knockout because Jermell Charlo had that boy hurt. I'm talking about he had him hurt bad. Trey Caesar said the look on Charlo's face told me everything. But see, what I didn't like, what I didn't like, right, is in the post fight interview, Charlo tried to act like he won the fight, and for what I heard, I didn't hear everything that Charlo said because I had the kids. But from what I heard, Charlo he tried to act like that he won the fight clearly. Nigga, give your opponent some respect. You didn't win that fight clearly. You didn't win that fight. So I don't want to. So I got to go hear what he say, after this. But I don't want to hear Charlo crying about that he won that fight because he didn't win that fight. He ought to be glad he got a draw. Dane Pierre says Castano was feared from here out. Now, if y'all been watching my lives, one thing I told y'all, I said that throughout Castano's whole career, he's had long, long layoffs, right? When he fought Laura on a long layoff, right? All of his biggest fights that he ever had, he always had long layoffs, but he still looked good. I said now, for the first time in a long time, coming into the Jermell Charlo fight, I said we're gonna get to see Castano an active Castano fight. And I said, an active Castano is very, very dangerous because we haven't seen an active Castano in a long time. And that's what y'all saw tonight. Y'all saw Castano be a lot sharper than you expected him to be because he was active. You know what I'm saying? I think his last fight was against Teixeira, probably what, 5 months ago? He ain't been this active in a long, long time since, early in his career. And Castano's dangerous because he only have, I think this was his, 18th pro fight, not counting the fights that he had in the World Boxing series or whatever. Not counting those fights because they didn't put those fights on his record, but he only got 18 fights. I think this was, let me look it up right now. I think this was his 18th fight. And they both felt each other's power. You know what I'm saying? They both felt each other's power tonight because he had Charlo hurt early and Charlo had him hurt early and late. He did. So let me see how many fights Bryan Castano got up under his belt. I think he got about 18. 19 fights. So he got 17 wins and 2 draws. Yep, 19 fights. So now this put Bryan Castano on the map because even though he had a championship belt, didn't too many people know about him. You dig what I'm saying? Didn't too many people know about him. So now he let it be known I'm a force to be reckoned with. And when y'all talk about the top fighters at 154 pounds, you got to put my name in there above the Jared Hurds, above the J. Rock Williams. Shit, you got to put him above Erickson Lubin right now because shit, Sheena, Sheena, what I tell y'all, Sheena, salute to the Queen, Sheena, up in the building. I told y'all, Sheena, what I tell y'all about Bryan Castano. She say I thought Mel lost, but I guess Castano didn't win decision. Um, Sheena, I had it a draw. I had it a draw. I don't have a problem with anybody having it for Castano by 1 round. But anybody talking about Jermell Charlo won that fight? Nah, he didn't win that fight. And we could sit down together, we could watch that fight, and I would challenge anybody to show me what rounds Jermell Charlo won to give him that fight. Like I said, he came back in the end. He came back in the end, and to me, he did enough to get a draw. To very, like, he edged out a draw. Jermell Charlo edged out a draw because if Castano could have pulled off that last round, Castano would have won that fight. And I had the same scores as the unofficial scorecard. Um, Mike once said the Charlo Bros don't want that Canelo smoke. Well, I mean, you can't keep saying the Charlos because only Jermall Charlo um, name is linked with Canelo. Jermell Charlo's name is not even linked with Canelo Alvarez, but Jermall Charlo, man, Jermall Charlo gets smoked out by Canelo. Ain't no way, Jermall Charlo. And I'll be willing to bet anybody if they ever make that fight with Canelo Alvarez and Jermall Charlo, I will be willing to give anybody 2-1 odds. So whatever you want to bet, I'll pay you double back that Canelo Alvarez beat the shit out of him. But he said Benavidez, Jermall Charlo, really, he acting like he don't want to fight Canelo or Benavidez now. Really? Both Charlos was calling out Canelo way back years ago at 154. But that shit is old. We talking about now. Like me, I'm not gonna I live in the present. You feel what I'm saying? They're all fighters right now in whatever weight divisions they in. I'm not gonna keep talking about what happened at 154 because we need to move on from that. That shit is we could talk about that shit all day. Hey, Batman, salute. Batman, what I tell you though, Batman, and I think Batman agreed with me. Me and Batman was one of the only ones that was agreeing when we was breaking down this fight and telling people what Castano was gonna do. Everybody else was thinking we was crazy. Talking about Jermell Charlo gonna knock him out early, Jermell Charlo gonna go in there and do this and that. I said, man, y'all tripping. I told everybody, I said, y'all tripping. Just like I'm telling everybody that y'all tripping when I talk about the Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant. Everybody shitting on Caleb Plant like Canelo's just gonna walk through Caleb Plant. That's another fight that y'all gonna be highly surprised when that fight happened. If that fight happened, Canelo Alvarez is not walking. Caleb Plant is different. Telling y'all. G May says at this point, I'd rather see Maul fight David and Plant. Them is his legacy fights right now. We gotta see if Maul, really act like he wanna fight them fights. You know what I'm saying? Maul is not acting like he wanna fight none of them dudes. Mike one, how is Plant too slow? That's one of Plant's biggest attributes is his speed and his slickness. What you mean he too slow? Uh, but right now, we could talk about Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. We got a lot of time to talk about that. Right now, we gonna give Jermell Charlo and Bryan Castano they flowers for putting on a hell of a fight tonight. You know, um, we're gonna give them their flowers for putting on a hell of a fight tonight because nobody should walk away from what they saw tonight mad because this was a hell of a fight for Undisputed, and this is all we asked for. All we asked for is the best to fight the best, and when they get in the ring, to give it they all. And we saw that tonight. We saw that tonight. So, we got to give both of them, these fighters, their flowers. Nobody got robbed tonight. Nobody got robbed. There's no way that you could look at that fight. A robbery, right? See, people don't know what the definition of a robbery is. Let me tell y'all what a robbery is, right? Let me tell y'all what a robbery is when you see, let me see, Anthony Durrell, I mean Andre Durrell versus Carl Froch, right? Anthony Durrell versus Carl Froch, and they give the fight to Carl Froch. That's a robbery. When Anthony Durrell beat Carl Froch easily 10 rounds to 2. Pernell Whitaker versus Julio Cesar Chavez. Pernell Whitaker won every round in that fight except for maybe 2 rounds. That's a robbery. What we saw tonight is not a robbery. You feel me? That's not no robbery. But like I said, I scored the fight round by round, and I scored it a draw. I scored it a draw. After 7 rounds, I had it 5 rounds to 2. After 7 rounds, I had 5 rounds to 2 for Castano at that point. Yep, after 7 rounds, I had it 5 rounds to 2. And then Charlo, he came back and he started winning some of the late rounds. Rolly, man. Rolly Romero, man, Rolly is trash. I'm gonna tell y'all, Rolly is trash. That dude, he's so wild. He throw his punches wild. His footwork is horrible. When he throw, he all he does is he's relentless and he's powerful. But he wild as fuck. He act like he in the ring playing football and shit. You know what I'm saying? He be hitting opponents with elbows. He be rushing in on them with he like that dude is trash. He's trash. When he throws his jab, he lunges with his jab. Like he doesn't even step right with his jab. Um, he doesn't when he throws his jab, when he steps with his front foot, he doesn't bring his back foot. He doesn't bring his back foot with his front foot. So he lunges out with his jab. He do so much of shit wrong. Like Rolly do so much of shit technically wrong, and it looks pitiful. That shit is like Rolly is garbage. Like that nigga, like he's trash. I ain't gonna like he has power and he rough. He's really rough and rugged, and he got power, but he's pitiful. Like how do you not know how do you not know when you pop your jab out to move your front foot and you got to move your back foot along with your front foot. He just puts his front foot out there and reaches and throw his jab. And then he throws his punches so wild, his back be turned. If when Rolly get it, he talking about some Tank Davis. Tank Davis is gonna fucking put him to sleep and he might not wake up. Rolly get in there with somebody that know how to box and got power. He's going to get put to sleep and he's not gonna wake back up. He better stay as far away from as far away from Tank Davis as he can. My man Batman in the building. His brother Gary Russell, right, is a lot smaller than Rolly, but Gary Russell will beat the shit out of Rolly Ramirez because his boxing skills is on a whole nother level. Uh, yep, Batman said when they put him in there with a boxer puncher, he gonna get the fuck beat out of him. Yeah, he said he gonna get the fuck beat up. He gonna get the fuck beat up. Yeah, he gonna get the fuck beat out of him. I know what you're trying to say. Sheena said, yeah, Rolly calling out Tank is laughable. That shit is beyond laughable, Sheena. I'm like, man, this dude really, but see, the thing with Rolly, right, is he's delusional, but you can't really fault him for having confidence in himself. But it's sad because he's going to eventually, he has the utmost, he has so much of confidence in himself. You could tell that can't nobody tell him shit, right? So the people around him can't tell him like, nah, man, you got a lot to work on because he's stubborn. He's stubborn. And see, that shit is going to get him hurt because he has a long way to go. He got a long way to go. Like all he has, like I said, He's so rough though. He do shit. He be hitting opponents with elbows, and he be coming in like he got a lot of power. He's physically strong. That's what really saved him. He's physically strong, and he be in tip top condition to where he don't get tired. You know what I'm saying? But as far as boxing skills, he don't got them. G May said, I want to see him against Colbert. Colbert to beat the fuck out of Rolly. Colbert to make him look real bad. Like I said, anybody that has that got good footwork, that got speed and know how to box is gonna make him look fucking bad. Like the dude that he was in the ring with tonight, if dude had been out of ring for over 2 years, if that dude was active, he probably would have beat Rolly because in the beginning, you know what I'm saying, when he was boxing a little bit, you could see he was making Rolly look stupid. But Rolly was just too rough for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? That dude, he wasn't prepared to be in there with a fucking all pro linebacker. You know what I'm saying? That's what Rolly is. That motherfucker all pro linebacker. You know what I'm saying? He like a little rough cornerback and shit. Cause he don't if he get in the ring, you don't know if this motherfucker playing football or boxing. Time lapse say, yeah, he is strong, but bro, I even thought to myself those elbows were out of control. Yeah, but you know who he learned that shit from? He learned that from Floyd. He learned them elbows from Floyd. Cause Floyd, you know, Floyd will hit you with an elbow real quick. But see, Rolly is so wild, right? See, Floyd, he'll hit you with an elbow in the ref, and you can't really notice it. You dig what I'm saying? You can't really, because Floyd do that shit with skills, and he be on the inside, and he be rolling with them elbows, and he do it with skills. Rolly, he's so wild with his shit, like it looked like the nigga fucking really in MMA throwing elbows. Like he really was throwing wide elbows, like throwing elbows. Like nigga, this ain't kickboxing. Rolly would be good in K1. In K1 kickboxing, that's what he need. He need to get his ass out of boxing, right? He need to get his ass out of professional boxing before somebody hurt him bad. And he needs to transition over to K1 kickboxing. Because in K1, if he learn how to kick, he learn how to kick good, he'll be dangerous in K1 because he rough. He rough like that. And all of that shit he be doing, that shit will translate very well for him over in kickboxing. But he gonna get the fuck knocked out of him in boxing. He going there with a skilled fighter. Miami Kid Jay said Castano versus Jermell rematch, but not in Texas. And y'all hit my like button. And everybody, if you haven't smashed my like button, do me a favor, please, and hit the like button. And if you're not a sub to the channel, make sure that y'all sub to the channel. It don't cost nothing. It don't cost nothing for you to hit the like button, and it don't cost nothing for you to sub to the channel. G May said, I only said if I catch Gary just because you said I only said if he catch Gary because of the size different. But Gary got a chin, and when you see somebody with the lack of skills, like in as wild as Rolly Romero, he can't get in the ring with somebody as skilled as Gary Russell, Tank Davis, Vasil Lomachenko, any of those dudes. Like any of the Chris Colbert, any of them dudes. Tank or Taylor, man, bro, dudes is see a lot of y'all dudes is crazy. Tank Davis is a beast, but not at 140 pounds, bro. Josh Taylor will beat the dog shit out of Tank Davis at 140 pounds. Josh Taylor will embarrass Tank Davis at 140. I'm telling y'all, man, if they make it, first of all, that's a fight that they're not gonna make. Leonard Ellaby and Tank Davis told y'all, right? Tank Davis said, I'm definitely not fighting at 140. I'm going back down to 130 or 135, my highest. Leonard Ellaby, when he was asked, how you see Tank Davis, you see him fighting at 140 again? He said, absolutely not. He said, the only way is if it's the right fight. The right fight, right, means if we come up on another opponent, right, or another right fight that we see as an easy fight for Tank Davis to where he could get a vacant belt or fuck around and get another, regular title or something like that, yeah, then we'll move up and get that smoke. But other than that, no, absolutely not. Y'all trying to get Tank killed. Like, come on, man. Josh Taylor is on a you saw Tank have problems. See, that's what I'm saying, man. Y'all gotta overlook just because y'all like a fighter. And I'm a much bigger fan of Tank Davis than I am Josh Taylor. Right? So let me say this. I'm a much bigger fan of Tank Davis than I am Josh Taylor. But y'all gotta start looking at these fights, bro. Y'all got to start taking out of equations just because y'all love a fighter and y'all a fan of a fighter. And y'all got to look at this shit with common sense sometimes. Josh Taylor is the top of the food chain, right? Josh Taylor is one of the best fighters in all of boxing, not just 140 pounds. Pound for pound, Josh Taylor is one of the best fighters, pound for pound, in all of boxing, right? You saw Tank Davis move up to 140 pounds and fight a guy, right? That was not, he was just recently, right? Recently, if you had go back and look at the rankings, Mario Barrios was ranked number 12 out of all the 140 pounders. He was ranked number 12 in most of the in the IBF, the WBC, in most of the rankings, he was ranked the number 12, right? 140 pounder. Mario Barrios, right? 2 fights before he fought Tank Davis, he really lost to a guy that was 7-0. He lost to a dude that had 7 fights. And that dude, right, even though the dude didn't knock Mario Barrios out, he beat him up worse than Tank Davis did. Mario Barrios had a fucking his eye was swole like a balloon. He got beat up in that fight. And these, I'm just telling you the truth, right? So Tank Davis went in there and he had a lot of problems with Mario Barrios. A whole lot of problems with Mario Barrios. And you're gonna sit up here and tell me, right, after what you saw with Mario Barrios, you telling me and I'm not just talking about you, Mac One. I'm not just talking about you. I'm not putting you out there because I'm talking to my man Money Brown. I'm talking to a whole lot of people because we talked about this on my live the other day, right? And a whole lot of people in my chat were saying that Tank Davis knocks out Josh Taylor, right? So from what you've seen, you're going to sit up there and tell me that Tank Davis can go back up to 140 pounds and knock out the best 140 pounder out there? Mario Barrios would not last. Mario, to tell you the truth, Mario Barrios probably wouldn't win more than 1 round if he stepped in there with Josh Taylor. And I guarantee you that. You just saw Josh Taylor beat Jose Ramirez. Tank Davis is not beating no Jose Ramirez at 140. He not beating no Josh Taylor at 140. I don't have him beating Regis Prograis at 140. Let him be great at 130 and 135. Let him fight the best fighters at 130. And you haven't even seen him fight the best fighters at none of his weight classes that he campaigns in. And you telling me that he could go up to a weight class and beat the best fighter, one of the best fighters all on the pound for pound list? Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop with this shit. I know y'all get so amazed with knockouts, but knockouts ain't everything. Tank is not gonna go in there and just knock out everybody, bro. I'm telling y'all need to cut it out with this shit. What about Tank and Haney? Um, Man, that's a good fight, bro. Tank Davis and Devin Haney is a good fight. I edged Tank over Haney. I edged Tank over Haney just because I think that Haney got if it goes, I think that Haney got better boxing skills, right? But Tank Davis has he got good boxing skills himself. But I don't think that Haney has enough power to keep Tank Davis off of him. And I think that'll be the key factor. Um, you know, but Haney can win that fight. it's just not that's not a fight that I'll just say, oh yeah, I'll be willing to bet anybody because I wouldn't. Haney can win that fight, but I think ultimately Haney don't have enough power to keep Tank Davis off of him. And Haney is gonna have to really move around that ring frantically for 12 rounds. And Tank Davis is he got a good enough IQ and he's gonna eventually catch up to Devin Haney. He gonna have a lot of problems with Devin Haney. A lot of problems. But I don't think that Devin Haney got enough power to keep him off of him for 12 straight rounds. And what's going to happen when Tank Davis finally closed that distance? You see what I'm saying? Because to me, Devin Haney don't have the best defense. He do a lot of shit wrong. You know what I'm saying? He a great fighter. He a great fighter. Great fighter. He gonna get better and he's scary. I love Devin. I love Devin Haney, but he still does shit wrong defensively, right? Shakur Stevenson, on the other hand, he don't do nothing wrong defensively. And I know everybody ain't perfect, but Shakur Stevenson is the closest fighter to being perfect defensively as you will see. So if Shakur Stevenson fought Tank Davis, I pick Shakur Stevenson because Shakur Stevenson is the type of fighter that he can make you miss for 12 straight rounds. You see what I'm saying? His defense is on that level to where he can make you miss for 12 straight rounds and frustrate you. He can make it a boring fight to where he can make you miss for 12 straight rounds and not get hit if he don't want to get hit. Devin Haney, not so much. He throw a lot of his shits wide, but I'll tell you like this: if Tank Davis gonna ever fight some of these dudes like a Devin Haney, he better fight Devin Haney right now. Because if you ask me that question a year from now or 2 years from now, it's probably gonna be a different answer. Because all you doing is we gotta understand that Tank Davis is about to be 27 years old in a few months. Devin Haney and them, 23 years old? Devin Haney probably barely 23. Shakur Stevenson barely 23, 24. So Tank Davis got a head start on them dudes. Them dudes are only going to get better. They only going to get a whole lot better. We might not see Tank Davis get a whole lot better. So he better jump on it. And so they better cut it out with this. We got a plan for Tank and start and stop trying to move him around these fighters like Devin Haney and put him in there in the ring with them right now because they continue to have a plan for Tank Davis. And they ended up having to put him in the ring with a Devin Haney, a Shakur Stevenson, a Teofimo Lopez, any of them dudes 2 years from now, a year and a half from now, that plan might go fucking wrong. Because, like I said, all of them dudes are a lot younger than Tank Davis, and they only gonna get better. Batman, when you said who I'm putting money on and what fight? What fight? What fight you asking me about? You Tio versus Gambosa. Uh you mean George Cambosis? Tio gonna knock his ass clean out, bro. That dude ain't man. That dude ain't he all right. He's straight, but he ain't on Teofimo Lopez level. What you DJ CNG man? You must be just coming in the building. I had it a draw, but I don't have nobody have. I don't have a problem with anybody giving it to Castano by 1 round. And that's who I'm putting my money on, Tank and Devin. Man, I wouldn't want to put my money on neither one of them, right? Because like I said, I favorite Tank in that fight, but Devin can outbox Tank, if he can stay away from Tank for 12 rounds, but I don't see him having nothing to keep Tank off of him. So if I had to put my money on somebody, if they make the fight right within the next let me see, 12 months, I'm putting my money on Tank. After that, I'm putting my money on Devin. But that fight ain't gonna that fight ain't gonna happen because we gotta, Tank Davis is the best fighter in the world. And Tank Davis, he don't gotta fight none of those guys. We got a plan for Tank, because they got a plan for Tank. You know what I'm saying? They got a plan for Tank, so we ain't gonna see none of them fights. Uh Mad Capper. See, I'm gonna tell you, and I don't have no problem with you saying that, but if you telling me, if you one of the ones, Mad Capper, that's telling me that you see Tank Davis moving up to 140 pounds again and beating somebody like a Jose Ramirez or a Josh Taylor, I'm gonna tell you what what type of fan you are. And I've been that type of fan before, right? I've been that same way. I'm gonna tell you, and it's no diss to you, no disrespect, because a lot of people think the way that you do, right? You see a knockout artist like Tank Davis get in the ring, right, with these opponents that he been fighting, and you see vicious knockouts. That's why Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather are putting him in the ring with those type of tailor-made opponents that's gonna stand right in front of him because he's the type of fighter that can produce vicious knockouts. See, people like to see vicious knockouts and then they overlook everything else. The same thing we did with Mike Tyson. We thought with Mike Tyson, he's unstoppable. Can't nobody beat Mike Tyson because he was knocking everybody out. But when you step in the ring, with a fighter just like Jermell Charlo tonight. He was in it. You see him in the ring with somebody that wasn't gonna fold under the pressure. When Tank Davis gets in the ring with a fighter that can box, that can fight, that got a chin on him, that's not gonna fold up when he hits him, that devastating knockout power that y'all see, that shit goes out the window. Now you got to rely on everything else. So don't always let that knockout shit, you know what I'm saying, cover your eyes up from other things that you need to be looking for. Knockout power ain't everything. Knockout power ain't everything. Tank can't boss hog. Tank can box. He can box, right? Don't get me wrong. Tank can box. But Tank Davis is not the best boxer out there. You see what I'm saying? He's not the best boxer out there. He can box, but Tank Davis can be outboxed. So what I'm telling you is when he get in the ring with somebody that can outbox him, that's not gonna fold, that's gonna be able to take his punches, that's when the problem comes in. Now he's gonna have to rely on his power and his pure boxing skills to see if he can win that fight going into decision. You see what I'm saying? You can't just judge. Tank Davis still has not fought the best fighters in his division. He ain't fought a Teofimo Lopez. You seeing Tank Davis have problems with Mario Barrios, right? You see him go in there and have problems early on with a small guy like Leo Santa Cruz. And you don't ask yourself, well, what's going to happen if he get in there with a guy like that got boxing skills like a Devin Haney, right? If Devin Haney can stay out the way of his punches for 12 rounds or, be able to take Tank's power. What's going to happen if he get in there with a Vasyl Lomachenko, right? And he have a hard time catching Vasyl Lomachenko. He can't outbox Vasyl Lomachenko. I don't give a fuck what y'all telling me. Tank Davis, he got to rely on his punching power to be able to knock out Vasyl Lomachenko because he can't outbox that man. What's going to happen when he get in there with Teofimo Lopez? When I think that Teofimo Lopez and Tank Davis, they both have probably even level boxing skills, but they both got knockout power and they both explosive. But Teofimo Lopez He's bigger than Tank Davis. So what's going to happen when he in the 50-50 fight with a guy like Teofimo Lopez? What's going to happen? See, this is the shit that y'all don't sit down and ask yourself. You just see knockouts and you get excited about that shit. And then it's, oh, well, Tank he just going to walk through everybody. It's not going to happen like that. And I'm going to tell y'all, right? I'm going to tell y'all like this. If what you guys thought, right? If what y'all thought about Tank Davis, if Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather thought the same thing y'all thought, we would have seen him in the ring with one of these fighters already. But you see, the thing is Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather, they don't think what y'all think about Tank. That's why they have a plan for Tank. That's why they have a plan for Tank. Because can't nobody on here give me a real explanation to why you have a plan for a fighter, why you have to have a strategic plan for a fighter. If now Tank Davis might believe he can beat everybody, right? And Tank Davis might be able to beat all of these fighters that we talking about. But Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather, they see something where they don't feel comfortable with putting Tank Davis in the ring with just any type of opponent. That's why they have a plan for Tank Davis. Like I said on my show the other day, what if Al Heyman, right? Listen to what I'm saying. What if Al Heyman and Derrick James had a plan for Errol Spence? What if they had a plan for Errol Spence? Do you think that we would have ever saw Errol Spence in the ring with Sean Porter, Kell Brook? If they had a plan for Errol Spence, do you think that Errol Spence would have went over to the UK and fought Kell Brook if they had a plan for Errol Spence? Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. If Bob Arum and T.O. Sr. had a plan for Teofimo Lopez, do you think that we ever would have saw Teofimo Lopez in the ring with Nakatani, Richard Comey, and then Vasil Lomachenko? Do you think they would have ever put him in the ring with Vasil Lomachenko if they had a plan for Teofimo Lopez? Y'all got to keep it 100. I'm a Tank Davis fan. I'm a bigger fan of Tank Davis than I am Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor, and all these other dudes that we talking about. I'm a bigger Tank Davis fan. But see, people like to say that I'm hating on Tank Davis when I talk about the facts. They have a plan for Tank Davis. Tank Davis don't have a plan for himself. So Floyd Mayweather is us in this generation, right? I think that in my generation coming up, I think that pound for pound at the same time when they were in their prime, that Roy Jones Jr. was better than Floyd Mayweather. But overall, as an overall career, Floyd Mayweather is the best or one of the best boxers that we've ever seen, period. Has the best IQ. You cannot sit there and tell me that Floyd Mayweather don't know boxing. Floyd Mayweather knows exactly what Tank Davis is, and he knows exactly what Tank Davis isn't. Leonard Ellerbe was right next to Floyd Mayweather his whole career. Leonard Ellerbe then saw thousands of fighters come through the Mayweather boxing gym. He then saw thousands of fights. So he know what Tank Davis is, and he know where he ain't. So when they look at what Tank Davis is and what he ain't, they have a plan for Tank Davis. So you can take it how you want to. They have a plan for Tank because they are not 100% confident. If we put Tank Davis in the fight with all of these dogs that y'all talking about, or at least one of them. Put him in there with one of them that he'll win. They can't. They're not gonna tell you that he'll 100% win. You see what I'm saying? They're not gonna. They're not 100% sure that they could put him in there with a Teofimo Lopez, a fucking Vasil Lomachenko, a Devin Haney. That's the only reason why you have. Can't nobody come on here and tell me why you have a plan for a fighter if you think your fighter can beat everybody. Can't nobody tell me. Give me one explanation because you can't tell me. Well, you know, because those fighters that you talking about, they ain't got no name. Well, Devin Haney got a bigger name than Mario Barrios, way bigger name. Lomachenko got a way bigger name than Mario Barrios. Motherfucking who else? Teofimo Lopez got a way bigger name than Mario Barrios. So if you telling me, well, they're trying to build Tank into a superstar. Well, the best way to build a superstar once you already on the level of Tank is to put him in the ring with another superstar because that other superstar is going to bring a fan base of their own. Which is going to make a mega fight. Which, if Tank Davis walks through that other superstar, then he's going to take that other superstar's fan base, and that's going to make him a bigger fan. I mean, a bigger superstar. So you can't tell me that, oh, well, that's why they have a plan for Tank. So the only explanation why they have a plan for Tank is to keep him undefeated, move him, right? The way they moving him for as long as they can so he can keep that O on his record. Sheena says, I actually think Tank would cry if he got beat. His team hypes him up too much, and I like Tank. Yes, see, Sheena, and you're just keeping it real. You're not hating on Tank. And see, the problem is, right, is they're glorifying the O. We have a plan for Tank. Real fans, and if you keep it real, right, you take that shit. Well, I like Tank. I'm a Tank Davis. You throw that shit out the window, right? And you keep it real, right? They're glorifying the O too much. They making it to him that the O is everything. We're gonna move you so you can keep that O. Now, what happens if he fuck around and lose? Now it's gonna fuck with his mentality. It's gonna fuck with his confidence. You shouldn't glorify that much. Who gives a fuck? When the best fight the best, you gonna lose. Everybody can't beat Floyd Mayweather. Everybody can't beat Andre Ward. You see what I'm saying? You saw tonight when the best fight the best, you might fuck around and lose or come very close to losing. Shit, Floyd Mayweather, he came very close to losing in his career before. Andre Ward, he went through his whole career, never came close to losing. But that first Kovalev fight, he came close to losing because he fought the best. It ain't nothing wrong with putting Tank Davis or anybody else in the ring and fighting the best. But see, boxing is fucked up now. The fans in boxing is fucked up because they making a whole bunch. When you see big shit like this, when you did some whole ass shit, right? When you see bitch ass shit, what Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather are doing with Tank Davis, you got boxing fans. They're defending this shit because they like Tank Davis instead of saying, "Look, I'm a fan of Tank, but look, I don't like that shit. They need to put him in there with somebody, and have him fight the best. I'm still gonna be a fan of Tank if he fuck around and lose. You know what I'm saying? But see, it's not good when you move people like you moving them. It's not good because you cannot move him his whole career like that. You can't move him his whole career like that because I'm telling y'all, when you continue to try to do this shit, Tank Davis he gonna eventually get caught slipping, and the worst thing that can happen to him is to get beat by an opponent that he's not supposed to get beat by. That's the worst thing that when he gonna fuck around and get in there with a dude that's rough and rugged, catch him off guard, and Tank Davis ain't gonna be able to knock the dude out and fuck around and lose. I've seen it happen too many times in boxing. That's why you don't do that. That's why we gotta respect dudes like Deontay Wilder and Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo and these guys that's willing to every time they go in there and fight, they putting their O on the line because they fighting the best. But see, as fans, we need to stop shitting on fighters when they fuck around and lose and he got exposed and this and that. Now, if you fuck around and skip around opponents and do all that bullshit and then you get exposed and you get knocked and you get beat by an opponent that you were supposed to beat, yeah, then you could clown them because you shouldn't have been fucking skipping around and ducking fighters. But if you fighting the best, we need to get off of this shit and stop shitting on fighters when they fuck around and lose. Because they fighting the best. At least you lost fighting the best. Same with Crawford. Well, man, we can't really say it's the exact same with Crawford, right? Because we know that Crawford is with Top Rank, right? And we know that Top Rank got a certain diet of fighters that they feed you, right? Now, if I hear Bob Arum or Bomac coming out saying, well, we ain't fighting Errol Spence and we ain't gonna fight Keith Thurman and we ain't gonna fight none of those guys because we got a plan for Crawford. You know what I'm saying? We got a plan for Terrence Crawford. You know, all those guys want to fight Terrence Crawford. We don't have to fight none of those guys. All those guys need Terrence Crawford. We got a plan for Terrence Crawford. If I hear them say some shit like that, now I got a problem. But see, we can't say it's the same with Terrence Crawford because we haven't heard nobody come and say we got a plan for Terrence Crawford. Now, we're going to see how Terrence Crawford move once, his contract is up. We're going to really see if Terrence Crawford wants to smoke once his contract is up. So I can't put Terrence Crawford in that we got a plan bullshit. Yeah, I can't put Terrence Crawford in that same bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. Chris 773 says real boxing fans get called haters because we want to see the best fight the best. And it's a problem, bro. You don't know how many times motherfuckers come on here talking about, oh, I'm a nigga that just hate Tank Davis and I can't stand Tank Davis. I'm like, I hate the man because I'm calling out that he hasn't fought the best in his division. That I want to see him in there fighting the best these other dudes. I'm wrong for that. Like, what the fuck is like? This is what boxing and boxing fans have come to, and it's like boxing fans is brainwashed. G May says that boy Regis just tweeted and said it's a fucked up feeling when you hit somebody and can't hurt them. Right. And this is what I'm talking about with Tank. What's gonna happen when he get in the ring with somebody that has equal level boxing skills as him, that have power too, and he hit them and they keep coming. Everybody is not gonna be a tailor-made opponent for you that's gonna fold when you hit them. Everybody and I give him all the credit in the world for beating Barrios. But if you watch me and you watch my live, before he fought Barrios, I said, man, he gonna fucking knock out Barrios. I'll show you my ticket right now. I picked him to stop Barrios. So I can't get on here and fucking act like that he did something amazing because I expected him to stop Barrios. But I still give him credit because, Barrios came in there to fight. He showed that he didn't come in there to lay down. He showed he came in there to fight. But ultimately, Barrios is who we thought he was. He is who I thought he was. He's the fighter I thought he was. Period. Straight up and down. Um, you want to see Matt Scaper say you want to see Tank Davis fight Gary Russell? I think that would be a hell of a fight. But in if Gary Russell, I'm gonna tell you like this: if Gary Russell could take Tank Davis's power, and I'm gonna keep it 100 because I'm a much bigger Gary Russell fan. I'm a fan of Tank Davis, but I'm a huge fan of Gary Russell. I was a fan of Gary Russell before I even knew who Tank Davis was. I was a fan of Gary Russell ever since the amateurs. I'm a big fan of Gary Russell, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I see it like this, and a lot of people like to shit on Gary Russell. Gary Russell can fight. He can fight inside. He can bang with you. He got great footwork, great boxing skills, great boxing IQ. Now, Gary Russell, we never seen him in the ring with a guy that has the power of Tank, physical strength of Tank, and the punching power of Tank. Size wise, as far as height, they're not too far apart. I think that if they fought at 130 pounds, right? Because that means that Gary Russell only got to move up one weight class to fight Tank Davis. If Gary Russell can take Tank, and I don't really say take Tank Davis's power because Gary Russell, I don't see him getting hit with big shots. But if he could take a couple big shots from Tank Davis and could withstand that shit, Gary Russell could beat Tank Davis. He might could beat Tank. It'll be a very close fight. But like I said, if Gary Russell could take that power, he'll give Tank Davis a whole lot of fucking problems. A whole lot of problems. And but that's a 50-50 fight to me. And I know a lot of people think, Gary Russell go in there and get his little ass knocked out. They both little. You acting like Gary Russell get hit a lot and he don't got boxing IQ and skills. So that's a great fight to me. That's a great fight. That's a great fight. Jesus Areola, I already talked about Tank versus Taylor. Ain't no fucking way in hell Tank Davis beats Josh Taylor. And I think anybody that fucking thinks that Tank Davis can go in there and beat Josh Taylor is delusional. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, a lot of, you know what I'm saying? My brother Money, he thinks that Tank Davis will knock out Josh Taylor. And I told the nigga that he's fucking delusional. And anybody else, any of my other brothers that think that Tank Davis can beat Josh Taylor, I think they delusional. My cousin thinks Tank Davis can beat Josh Taylor. And I told my cousin that he's a damn fool for thinking that shit. I think that he's delusional. Mad Scaper, I think that you are delusional. But hey, it's all love. I just think that you delusional. It's no way that you can sit there and break that fight down to me and show me where Tank Davis can beat Josh Taylor. If you're praying on fucking Tank Davis jumping up and I'm literally jumping up off of his feet with a hook and knocking out Josh Taylor because he was coming off of his feet to land his hooks against Mario Barrios. You are delusional. Canelo versus Bitter Beef. I think I don't know, man. That's a tough fight, bro. That's a tough fight. Canelo got a lot more skills than Bitter Beef, but Bitter Beef got that fucking power. But Bitter Beef is slowing down a little bit because he old, man. He older. He a lot older. G May said, I got $50. Tank, give him that Benadryl. Well, I mean, that fight ain't gonna never be made, G May. But I guarantee you, if that fight was ever made, I would give you 3-1 odds. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Chris773, I appreciate you for subbing, man. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that like button first and sub to the channel. It don't cost you none to sub to the channel. It don't cost you none to hit that like button. G Mays, I would give you 3-1 odds. Easy. Easy. We could bet my 3,000 to your 1,000. Or we could do more than that. I'll easily give you 3-1 odds, dog. Or we could do less than that. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Whatever you would want to do in that fight, but it's not gonna happen. That's dude, we talking about make believe shit. Leonard, you think that Leonard Ellaby got a plan for Tank Davis and won't even put him in the ring with the best at 130 or 135? You think they gonna put him in the ring with one of the best pound for pound fighters in a whole different weight division? Come on, man. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. I'm glad that y'all have way more confidence in Tank Davis than Leonard Ellaby and Floyd Mayweather do. Y'all gotta understand, right? Y'all gotta understand. Um, Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellaby, they've seen Tank Davis's flaws. They've seen things in Tank Davis that we haven't seen. They've seen his flaws, and they've seen things that we haven't seen that he can do well that we don't even know about, right? They've seen it all in the gym, him training, all of that. Y'all got to think rational sometimes. They've seen it all. So with them seeing that, they know what type of opponents not to put him in the ring with. That's all I'm trying to tell y'all. Okay, check this out. If you got a fighter, right? Even an amateur fighter. Let's just say let's say your son or daughter, right? You got your son or daughter, right? And you training your son or daughter. And I have personal experience in this, right? You training your son or daughter, right? If you in your head, you thinking like, ain't nobody fucking with my son or my daughter. Ain't nobody fucking with them, right? You're not gonna pick and choose or what gyms you go to get sparring in, right? To put your daughter or your son in the ring with. Because you're gonna have the mentality where I want him or her in the ring with any and everybody because I know I don't shit. I have all the confidence in the world that my son or my daughter can whoop anybody. But if you see certain things like, okay, well, my son or my daughter, they have problems with these style fighters, or they need to work on this more. And then you got to fight, and you got certain fighters that you see just wrecking shit. You're not finna put your son or your daughter in the fucking ring with that certain fighter. You're gonna be like, nah, nah, not right now. I'm good. You need to work on this more. You need to do this more. You know what I'm saying? Before you can get in the ring, you're going to protect your son or your daughter. You're going to protect your fighters. When you hear we got a plan for Tank, that's what they're doing. They're protecting him from certain fighters. And it ain't no that, oh, well, Tank Davis is scared. It don't have nothing to do with that. It's that Leonard Ellaby and Floyd Mayweather, their ultimate businessmen. So they know how the boxing world is, that if Tank Davis gets an O on his record, even though it shouldn't be this way, if he gets a loss on his record and he don't have that O no more, well, they can't promote Tank as Tank Davis is the best fighter in the world. I mean, all these guys, they want to fight Tank. Tank Davis is a star. They can't promote Tank Davis like that no more. You see what I'm saying? They can't promote Tank Davis as the best fighter in the world. They can't promote him as the biggest superstar in the world. But see, as long as he has an O on his motherfucking record, they can tell you that Tank Davis is the best fighter in the world. All these guys need Tank Davis. Can't none of these guys beat Tank Davis. Tank Davis is this, and that. They can tell you that as long as he have the O on his record. They can sell him to the casual fans as the Mike Tyson that's unstoppable, the 1986 Mike Tyson that's unstoppable, that's going to run through and wreck everybody that he fucking get in the ring with. It don't matter what weight class, they can sell him like that. As long as he continues to knock out the fighters that they put in front of him, because he ain't knocking out the best fighters. As long as he can continue to knock out the fighters that they put in front of him, that they pick and choose for him. Because if you're a casual fan, or you're a fan that look at a fighter and just because you like that fighter, you don't look past nothing else. If you that type of fan, if you either one of those fans, they could sell Tank Davis to you. And most fans are like that, especially in this day and age. Most fans are like that. And so that's just what it is. Time Lapse says, why are we talking about Tank? Man, I don't know, man. Somebody had came in here and started talking about Tank. I was trying to give Jermell Charlo and Bryan Castano they flowers. But you know how boxing talk get, man. We just talking boxing, bruh. We just talking boxing, man. You know, boxing, man, don't never with boxing, we don't never stay on subject, man. But like I said once again, man, shout out to Jermell Charlo and Bryan Castano for putting on everything they said the fight would be. They both put on a tremendous showcase tonight. And that's all we can ask for at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can ask for. Uh, and make sure that y'all hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel. I've been on here for almost an hour and a half. I want to chop it up. Like I said, once again, I had the fight a draw. I scored the fight 6-6. At one point in the fight tonight, I had Jermell Charlo. After 7 rounds, I had Jermell Charlo down 5 rounds to 2. And then I had Jermell Charlo barely eking out, barely edging out, the 12th round to give him a draw. I had Jermell Charlo pulling off a draw because before I had him losing, had him pulling off a draw. I think the judges did good. That 117 to 111, that was some bullshit, but it didn't matter. It didn't affect the fight. I thought it was a draw. I thought that they was, the other 2 judges scored it good. I don't think no way in hell that that Jermell Charlo won that fight. I don't have a problem if anybody say that Bryan Castano won that fight by 1 round, right? Or maybe 2, right? But Jermell Charlo didn't win. I had it a draw. That's what I scored it. And if anybody is talking about that anybody got robbed in this fight, you need to go back and watch the fight because it wasn't no robbery. And shout out once again to both of the fighters. They did very well. They did very well. And salute to you, Sheena. I appreciate you in that cash up, Sheena. I appreciate you always coming through showing love. But yeah, it was a great fight tonight. Like I said, I'm gonna get up out of here. Make sure that you sub to the channel if you're not already sub, and hit my like button. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.